Hello everyone, welcome to the Geek, I'm Penge, and this is the first in a series, maybe, first in a few videos of turn-based games, because I love a turn-based game. They're lovely. Some games have their place, you know, but sometimes they're all action and stuff going on, and pow and pizzazz and other weird words. But yeah, sometimes a turn-based game is lovely, because you can have your turn, it's quite relaxed, there's no time limit in some of them. You know, you can do what you like. For this particular playthrough of Star Realms, I have a cup of tea and some biscuits here. In a turn-based game, when it's the opponent's go, or even at the start or end of your turn, you can, you know, have a leisurely bit of tea and delicious biscuit. And there's no rush, there's no pressure, you're not going to get shot at or anything while that's happening. So it's all lovely. I do like a turn-based game. And this is a particularly good turn-based game. This is Star Realms. So this is based on, and get this, there's games you can play which aren't on the computer. I know, let that sink in. This is based on card game that is a real card game in the real world. It uses actual physical cards in your hand. Yeah, I know, I was suspicious at first, but yeah, it is very good. Star Realms is one of my favourite games in terms of, you know, actual physical. It's not really a board game as such, but I suppose it's a card game, a sort of deck building game, I think is the best way to describe it. It's not like Magic deck building, where you can buy lots of bulk cards of sort of, you know, your red deck, and then you can purchase the expensive cards and build your deck, your sort of personal own deck of cards around the cards that you're spending real money on. It's not that kind of deck building game. Everyone uses the same deck of cards, and then you take it in turns, and your deck, your sort of fleet, if you like, is built up upon what happens in the particular hands that you're dealt. So, yeah, let's go and have a look. It's a bit easier to go through it. So we're going to do the campaign. I've bought all the DLC for this, because I have all the DLC. All the DLC? It's not DLC, I mean, it's real. I've bought all the sort of card expansion packs of various little bits and bobs. So, if we look at this, actually, it shows you. So I don't think it comes with any of the... It might come with Gambits and promos, possibly. But certainly, bases, events, heroes, and fleets are certainly DLC content in the game, or they are extra card packs that you can buy in real life. I don't know if these two are or not. I think they might also be DLCs. I'm not entirely sure, because I've had these a long while. Gambits and promos, those are relatively new. But what we're going to do to start, we're going to go to the campaign mode. So as you can see, there are eight chapters in the campaign. I think you get the first 2 with the base game, and then the rest are all given to you as you buy the DLC. So let's go and have a look at Chapter 1, First Command. So it's split up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different missions. And yeah, so let's see what is happening in Chapter 1. So Mission 1, A New World. Ooh. The mining planet Aaah is being ravaged by civil war. Aaah's ruling council has called for your kingdom's aid, promising valuable mining rights should you put down the resistance. High Admiral Moulin Rouge volunteers for the mission. So the Moulin Rouge is going in. Your longtime mentor, Minister Sardius, has convinced your father, King Regalon. It's a bit weird, isn't it, with kings in space? I would have always thought it would be, you know, Galactic Emperor or something. King always sounds like a bit sort of old school. It doesn't really befit space, but there you go. My father, King Regalon, to give me my first fleet command for this mission. Reward his decision by destroying the rebel fleet and winning Aaah's loyalty for your father's kingdom. I'm going to do it on normal. You can do it on hard. So do it on normal for this playthrough. Standard rules, because there are some which have special rules. I know that the end battles of each chapter do have special rules, I think. And this is my starting deck. So, ooh, look, Scout. So I get 8 Scout cards and 2 Vipers. And what these mean will become clear as we move on. The Rebels, the baddies, get 5 Vipers and 5 Scouts. So the same amount of cards, but divided up differently. And these are the sort of achievementy things that will light up the Star Realms little sort of logos, badges, whatever they are. Star Realm stars. So yes, if I win before my 7th turn, I'll light all 3 up. If I win before my 9th, I light 2 up. And if I win before my 11th, I light up all 3. That seems fairly obvious. So let us start. We'll start and we'll just see what happens, because it'll make more sense when we can look at the board. Right, that's convenient because it's my turn first. So here it is. It's lovely. Ooh, the background moves. So this is the baddie. So Mr. Rebels here is the bad guy. And this 25 here is his authority. You don't kind of have life, you have authority. So he's got 25 points of authority. Whereas I, over here, player, which, yeah, that's what everyone calls me. No one calls me that. I have 30 points of authority because I'm clearly really good compared to him. That's good. This is my hand that I've drawn for this turn, and that is the rest of my deck, which you can view, which was the rest of the cards that we saw at the start. Likewise, he has not had his hand drawn. Well, he might, in theory, he could be looking at those knowing that they're for next turn, but at the minute he can't do anything because it's my turn. Because I'm going first, I have 3 cards. I never really quite understood why, but there you go. I have 3 cards because I'm going first, and then his go, he'll have 5. Maybe it's because I get first dibs on what's here. I can only assume that's why. So this in the middle is the trade row, and we will buy ships and bases and heroes, and events will pop up when we do this. Or when we pick cards, when we buy cards, there's always 5 things in the trade row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus these explorers live on the end. I think they are infinite. You can buy infinite explorers. So primarily, this is the base function of there's 3 kind of things of these icons that a card can do. Yellow means it gives you money. It gives you trade, which you can use to buy cards. Red, with the tiger on it, is, as you probably guess, attack to damage my opponent. And green restores your authority. So if I play a card, for example, if I were to buy that card and play it, it would give me 2 trade, and it would give me 3 authority back. So I'm going to play my 3 cards, so they're all the same, so I can conveniently do that. So now I have 3 trade. So this number here in the top right of each card tells me what I can buy. So that costs 3, that's 1, and that's 3, and that's 1, and that's 2. And they're 2, but I won't be going into those right now. So then we get into the topic of the colours. So there are different coloured cards. Now I can't remember what the yellow guys are called. Star Federation or something. So there's blue cards, which are the Trade Federation. They are generally about healing up. Generally they have healing and stuff like that and drawing a few extra cards, but they're mostly about recovering. The green ones are the blob, like giant space kind of worms and slugs and things. Think the Zerg or Tyranids from Warhammer 40k or Tyrannids or whatever it is. They kind of look like that, don't they? So they're green. They're mostly to do with killy. Look, they're very fighty. They're very cause lots of damage all the time. Bam, bam, bam. There are yellows, which I can't remember the name of at the minute, but they are more to do with discarding cards, so making your opponent have to discard cards from their hand. And there are red, which is about causing a bit of damage, I think, a bit of money, but they also are about scrapping your cards, so you can get rid of the rubbish cards from your hand forever and be left basically with your better set of cards. So I've got 3 trade to spend. So I'm going to have, I think it's right click, isn't it? Look at the artwork, it's lovely. And it looks like this on the cards as well. This is actually a fairly accurate representation of the physical card, which I quite like. So yeah, these horrible kind of grotesque things cause 4 damage if I deploy it, and I get to scrap a card in the middle row, in the trade row. So if there's something that I think, oh, my opponent's going to get that, I can stop him from getting that. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to have a battle pod, and it'll go down into my hand. Well, into the discarded pile at the minute. And because I've got 1 left, I'm going to have a blob fighter as well. There we go. Now you'll notice here's a red card for the machine cult, which is that scrapping stuff. We'll come to that in a bit, hopefully. But this card is sideways. Ooh, that means that is a base. So these ones are ships, which are used for 1 turn, and then when they are played, like these 3, they are now expended, and they will go into my discarded pile. However, a base, when played, will go somewhere down here. And I will be able to basically keep that base until it is destroyed. And there are different types of bases, but for now, let us end our turn and we'll see what the computer does. So the computer has got 2 attack and 3 trade. So he has caused me 2 damage to my authority, and he bought some stuff. Ooh, there's quite a lot of blob cards coming up, isn't there? So another thing we then have to take into account when buying our cards is that if a card has this on it, a sort of green, well, the same thing that's in the corner, but further down the card, That's called a sort of, I'm not entirely sure how to refer to it, but a pairing bonus, kind of team bonus, ally, I think it might be referred to as. So if I play a blob card on its own, if I played this card on its own, it would cause 5 damage. If I then played this card, this blob destroyer, because they're both blob cards, I then get any bonuses, any effects that are linked to from this thing here, which kind of looks like green boobs, but it's fine. That's all lovely. I'll get this bonus. So I'd get an extra 2 attack, and this would let me destroy a target base and bin something in the trade row. So that's rather good. So I might go for this blob destroyer. So I'm going to have the blob destroyer card, goes into the deck, and I shall cause him 1 point of damage. Authority, I nearly said there. I don't even know what that is. However, it does mean it's time for tea, and this is the advantage. Here we go. End turn, I can have some tea. Lovely tea. I'm going to lay off the biscuits for a bit, though. Incidentally, custard creams are today's biscuit of choice. Not loads, but a few. So now I can play my blob destroyer, which causes a lot of damage. So that's quite good. So 6, let's play all. Bosh, bosh, bosh. There we go. So I've got 8 damage and 2 trade to buy stuff with. So now I'm going to go for this. So this card here, which looks fairly cool. Look at that thing. I like the look of that. Causes 2 damage, which is alright. But it means I can scrap a card in my hand or my discard pile. So there's 2 types of way you get rid of cards out of your hand. You can discard them to your pile here, which means that when your cards have run out, all your cards are shuffled together, all randomly, and you get the next 5. However, if you scrap a card from your hand, it goes away forever. You chuck it up and lob it in a bin and stamp on it, and then set the bin on fire. Not while you're stamping on it, that'll be ill-advised. But yeah, it's gone forever. So essentially the idea is of this, you buy your decent cards, so these ones, because they're better, and in the long run you'll try and scrap these ones, the sort of the scouts and the vipers and the other rubbish cards. Because if you keep drawing hands with them, you're not going to be able to combine, get all the cool effects of all the ally stuff with these, or get the really good bonuses and things like that. So ideally, you want to have enough attack and money to keep going, and then enough sort of scrapping power to get rid of your old rubbish cards. So we shall have him because he lets me scrap a card in my hand or my discard pile. So when he is played, I'll be able to start scrapping things, which is rather nice. And I'm going to cause him 8 points of damage, which is quite significant for this because he's not got much. Normally you start with 50 in Star Realms, which we'll see in a bit. We're going to get a nice pairing bonus here. This is going to be lovely. Right, he's going for the... there's an awful lot of blob cards coming out. This is tremendous. Right, we'll play these 3 cards because they're fine. We shall then play that card. So the blob fighter is in play, and on its own it's just going to do 3 damage. However, when I play this card, because it's another blob card with the green boobs, I'm going to get 4 for simply playing this card. But I'm going to get another 2 because it's paired with him, and I get to draw another card. So let's see how that works. So I should have another 6. So it should go up to 9, and I'll get an extra card. And I get to scrap a card on this row. So this card, whatever I choose, will never come back. So let's have that, because he might pick that, and that might heal him. So let's bin that card. Oh, there we go. And I got another scout, which is another trade point. So these are the yellow guys, so the Star Empire, that's what they're called. There we go. So they're sort of fighty, but they're mostly about scrapping, discarding cards and making your opponent discard cards out of their hand. So you get 5 sometimes if they're really good and they've got a load of yellow cards. You can say, right, you must discard 4 cards. So before your turn's even started, you're already down to just 1 card, which obviously isn't particularly brilliant. So now I get to choose what I want. So I've got 4. So I'm going to have the ram, because it causes a lot of damage. And now I've got 1 left, so I'll have the blob fighter. I'm going to go down the blob theme. Now these bases are very cool. We haven't got any bases yet, but bases basically sit down here, and the effect of the base will kick in every turn, or it'll do what's specified on the card, until it's destroyed. So this base here, for example, has a shield, that's a grey shield value of 7. So it will take 7, if that was deployed, it would take 7 damage to just destroy that base. So, and that's quite good, and that is quite a lot of damage, actually. That's a very good card. This one, it would take 6 to destroy. However, this one is an outpost. Outposts are good. So if they're in a black shield, it means that you have to destroy the outpost before you can then get to your baddie here, to get to your enemy, or they can get to you. So they kind of stand in the way. If it's a silvery shield, it doesn't matter. You can attack your enemy directly. If they're hiding behind bases with black shields, it means that you have to destroy them first. So, they're quite good. So basically, it's sort of free life, free authority, essentially. But, no bases are in play, I've got 9 points. Let's attack you, sir. So, yep, so you're down to 7. You're not looking very healthy. And I think, unless you heal up this turn, I will kill you. Yes. This is probably a very good example. So this card here, I can now scrap a card from my hand. So because I'm going to win anyway, let's pick a scout. Boom! That scout's now gone forever out of my hand. So that scout card will never come back. So now the chance is higher that when I do pick cards, I'm going to pick the better cards that I'm purchasing rather than the rubbishy ones. Right, and let's kill him off. So I've got 1 to spend. I can't spend it on anything. However, I've got 9 damage. I don't have to blow that up if I don't want to. I can go straight through to him. It's not a black shield, it's not an outpost. So I can circumvent the blob wheel, which is what that is, which looks revolting and kind of weird. And just go boom! And I got the 3 things. And there's fireworks, lovely fireworks. Yes, because that's what the people would do. Would fireworks work in space? Would you be able to do that in space? I suppose an explosion could happen. An explosion could happen in space, but then would you be able to make it do that? Because you'd need the fire. And unless things have changed in space, unless they've altered space since the last time I went, since I popped by, as far as I'm aware, fire in space probably doesn't work. And I don't imagine it would work like that in terms of the physics either. So yeah, these must be, maybe this is what happens in the future. Maybe that's why everyone's at war. Because I've spent so much time inventing space fireworks, I haven't worked out other things like how to look after the people, or economies, or ways to be nice to each other. But, achievement-wise, I got the 3, so I must have won with my 7th turn. Go me! And then it unlocks the next one. So we do the same again, so I assume it is standard rules. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to flick back here, I'm going to do a game against the computer, and I'm going to pick medium, and we're going to put all these extra bits on, which is jolly exciting because we get cool stuff. So bases adds a few more bases in there, different sort of outposts and things to get in the way. Heroes adds hero characters. Fleets just adds a lot more ships. Events adds an entirely new type of thing, and where a card could say something like Comet, and it'll say, right, you need to discard 2 cards. And it happens to both people. And sometimes there's different rules depending on if you're the one drawing the card or if it happens on the opponent's turn. That's jolly exciting. And gambits are little cards that you keep with you and that you can deploy just 99% of the time, just the once. There are a couple of cards which stay with you as like a shield and an attack bonus type thing. But we'll see about those. So let's start a game against the AI and just see what happens. And already, we are deep within in event territory. So this is an event literally has been drawn into this deck. So medium AI. I'm going to call him Al. Medium Al. He's related to Big Al, but he's not quite as fat. So he's getting there. He's just kind of rubbish. So a comet. I can scrap up to 2 cards in my hand or discard pile. Now this is unfortunate because ideally you'd want to discard pile. So I can get rid of some stuff in my hand right now. So I can't buy anything right now, but I want to keep my scouts because... what have I got in my hand? Oh, I can't check what's in my hand. Oh, yes, I can. Hang on, how did that work? I clicked it. Right, okay. Yes, because they're in my deck. They're not in the discard pile because I've not played any cards yet. So yeah, I might get rid of these 2. The 2 Vipers, get rid of those. I want to keep as many scouts as I can for now because I need them to buy things with. And I can play my scout, but I can't afford anything. He generates 1 trade, and the cheapest thing on the trade row is 2. There's a few things at 2. Just slightly annoying, because no doubt he'll get the rub of the green and get to pick all the cool stuff, because he got to go second. These purple things are the Gambit cards. So that, I can basically use that once. I deploy a bold raid and go and destroy a target base and get a card drawn, which is lovely. And my other one is salvage operation. So I get to put a target card from my discard pile back on the top of my deck, which is really useful. If you've just lost a really good card, like a really good base or something, you basically use that. It gets back onto the top of your deck, so you know next turn you're going to get to draw it again. And he, Medium Al, has got political maneuver, which means you can just get 2 trade straight off. That isn't very good. It is useful maybe if he had... Can't really see what he'd use it for here. If he had 2 and you really want that battle screecher, this blob card here on the right, he could then deploy that and get another 2 trade and buy it. It's not particularly brilliant. This is rather annoyingly good though. He gets to heal up 8 authority and draw a card because he's sending this gigantic, big, red, angry-looking spaceship off towards somewhere. So I can't afford anything. So it's a bit of a rubbish turn, really. A bit of a non-turn for me, which is the disadvantage of going first sometimes. So he scrapped a Viper out of his turn, and he went for a hero card. Oh, right, he's using all his cards straight up. Oh my goodness, right. So he basically put his hero, he played his hero, and then scrapped his hero. I was going to have a look at it. So heroes work differently, but that must have been one where you basically scrap them and you get authority. So he got authority plus 8 from his Gambit card. And then he got authority plus 7 from the hero card that he got. So now he has 15 more authority, more than me already, and we've not even started. Crikeys. Okay, I need to pick what I want to do. I'm thinking this is a good card. The Battle Station. We can hide behind it. It doesn't do anything. It literally does nothing apart from if you scrap it and blow it up. Which is another thing that we haven't kind of got around to yet, but you can scrap cards. Some cards have a scrap icon on, like a bin icon. So you can physically say, right, I'm going to get rid of this card and get the effects from it, but then that card is gone forever. So if I did that with this, I could scrap this card and it would cause 5 points of damage, but then I would never be able to use it again as a base. So for the minute, I'm going to get that, because that's really good. If you can hide behind that for 5... just sit there with a wall of defence in front of you. That is very good. And I might go for this Corvette because it's causes 1 damage, but means I draw another card. And if I pair it with other yellow cards, Star Empire cards, it then generates more damage, and it's only 2, and it's quite cheap. So there we go. So there's nothing I particularly want. It hasn't got a target base, and I don't want anything returning from my discard pile. Oh, and there we go. The Corvette's come straight out already. I knew he was going to go for that Battle Screecher. You sod. Right, we'll play all our cards. So I'm going to get another card drawn. So I've got 5. Aha! Right, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Do I go for a base? So a fighter base, which means that if this is in play and I play another yellow card, my opponent, Medium Al, has to discard a card from his hand. Or do I go for a space station, which causes lots of damage, well, 2 damage, paired with another yellow card, creates another 2 damage. Yeah, now if I did that, that's 3, and I might be able to buy an Explorer. In fact, a Cutter's quite good. Right, what we'll do is we'll have this fighter base. Thank you very much. And I'm going to have this. Now, I'm not going to go for loads of blue cards, but if I deploy this card at any point, it heals me up 4 straight away and gives me 2 trade, which is really good. Cutters are really good. They kind of look a bit rubbish in terms of, I mean, the artwork's gorgeous, but the actual ship itself looks kind of a bit crap and run down. So I don't know what they do. Cutters, they're built for cargo, armed for conflict. Versatility for an unpredictable universe. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. That was an advert. Built for cargo, armed for conflict. Versatility for an unpredictable universe. Premier Aerospace Cargo Enterprises. See, I could work in the future selling spaceships. Right, I'm going to have that because that'll heal me up whenever it's deployed. Oh no, there's lots of blob cards coming out and causing a point of damage while we're there. End the turn. See what he does. Right, he has deployed a trade wheel base. Ah, right, okay, more stuff coming up. Right, I can scrap up to 2 cards, so he won't be able to make use. I know he's got a discard pile. Annoyingly, I haven't got a discard pile. Which is somewhat irritating. So I get to scrap 2 cars. So I could scrap a Scout. I'm a bit loath to scrap 2 because that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'd have 6. And I haven't got much that generates money, really. The cutter generates a bit of money. So I'd rather do that. So let's get rid of one at least. At least it gives me the chance to clear it out a bit. And I get to put my battle station into play. So my battle station is an outpost. So he has to destroy the battle station now before he can damage me over here as player. So I've got a little bit more defence in play. Oh, let me draw an extra card. That was rather lovely, wasn't it? So my Corvette let me draw the cutter out, and the cutter healed me up 4, which is 53, so I'm not too far behind him. And it gave me 2 trade. Now what do I do? I'm going to go for the other yellow base. I'm going to have the battle station or space station, whatever it is. Oh, I want the Dreadnought. Look at how cool it looks. It's got massive gun things all over it. And look, they're firing sides. These guys remind me a little bit of Battlestar Galactica type sort of craft. Big, heavy, kind of angular, sort of bulky looking craft. That looks tremendous. But look, and then that looks like the little sort of nippy sort of fighters that came out of Battlestar Galactica, that kind of stuff. Right, let's cause him his 1. I wouldn't mind blowing up that trade wheel, but it costs 5, so I can't. So we'll cause him 1 point of damage. And yeah, so we're defended. So effectively, we've got 53 plus 5, so we've got 58. Oh, he's scrapped the whole trade row. He's got rid of my Dreadnought. You are a sod. I'm not happy with you. Oh my goodness, and he's picking all of the cards. Oh, what? Right, so he picked a hero card and then deployed the hero card, which meant that I've now got to lose a card. Not too big of a deal. We'll lose the scout, because a scout anyway, because I'm not that bothered. We'll play these 3, so I've got 3 trade, and then that basically, again, is an outpost. I've not got any yellow cards to play at the minute, but if I do, he will then have to discard cards next time. So this time out, I kind of have a choice really. I'm not going to go for Explorer at the minute. I can either have an Embassy Yacht, which heals me 3 and gives me 2 trade. But if I have 2 or more bases in play, which is likely because I think I have 3 bases now, I get to draw 2 extra cards. Or I go for Fortress Oblivion, which looks like a weird Doctor Who type big floaty angular box thing in space. If I played a base this turn, including that one, I get to scrap a card from my hand or discard pile, which is probably very useful. So I'm going to go for a base, and as well, it's an outpost base, which is more defense for me. So I'll have that. I've got no attack. I can't do anything. So let's end my turn and see what the computer gets up to. Right, he's going to absolutely annihilate me with these blob cards. That is going to hurt a lot. Also, one of the things one of the blob cards can do, the blob destroyer, is it can instantly destroy a base, which is what happened to my base there, which is why he didn't take any damage, so he didn't lose any damage points, because it has a special ability where it can just blow my base up into bits, which is really nice. Thanks. I have to say, things are not falling very well for me, particularly in this game. I'm going to play this now, and ideally, you'd want a hand, a discard pile even, with all these cards in that you've already played. But every time I've had the chance to discard a card, it's going to have to be from my hand, which means I then have less ability later on to actually buy stuff. So I'm not going to use that right now, which is really irritating. Whereas I think Mr. Medium Al, has had loads and loads of discard chances. His hand is probably full of very good cards. But I'm not going to discard anything. I'm going to play 4. I'm going to have this battle barge, because if I play it, it causes 5 damage instantly. My opponent has to discard a card, which is always very useful. And if I have 2 or more bases in play, which again is likely if you keep destroying them, I get an extra 3 attack, so I'll get 8 from playing this 1 card. And I get to basically take one of his bases and chuck it back into his hand. So it might be a really tough base, and I can just basically blat it out of the way. So I shall gladly have that. Ooh, trade mission. The player currently taking their turn. Hello, that's me. Hello. Gains 4 trade and may put the next ship they acquire this turn on top of their deck. Each of the player draws 2 cards. Right. Okay, so now I've got 4 trade. And whatever I play is going to go back onto the top of the deck. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the Embassy Yacht. And that's going to go on the top of my deck. So next turn out, I will heal up 3. So that's fine. And then I'll have a cargo launch card. And these are a bit weird. These are new. But essentially, you replace it. So you draw it. It doesn't do anything. You just draw another card. But then if you want to, you can turn it into money if you need one extra trade. So you just scrap it and have that. So it's a useful card to have. You don't lose anything from having it. And yeah, that's it, I think. So let's end my turn. Fortress Oblivion has unused abilities. Yes, it means I can scrap something, but I haven't got a hand, and my discard pile is 3 good cards. So I don't want to do that. So yes, please continue. Oh, now this. He's going to have a lot of cards in his hand, though. He's going to have a lot of cards. Oh, and he gets to use his thing again. Yeah, I have a feeling that I'm going to get pantsed in this turn. I have a feeling I'm going to get hit a lot. Right, the battle station goes down. The space station goes down. So I've got 2 bases. So now, if I do this, I put the embassy yacht down. It says if I have 2 or more bases in play, draw 2 cards. So I'm now going to get to draw 2 extra cards. Bit disappointing. Both are kind of the crap ones, but there we go. So now I have 7. 7 trade. And anyone that has ever played Star Realms will know that this is a very good card. It looks very good as well. Kind of a round, spiky ball of death world. But yes, it counts as an ally for anyone. So if that's in play, if MacLeod is in play, everyone's ally ability is active. So if that's in play and you have 5 cards, all with ally abilities, you end up with a very, very potent hand. So I'm going to have MacLeod. Thank you very much. Ooh, and then it's an interesting choice. Do I go for the trade bot or a patrol bot? So the patrol bot gives you a choice. You can choose, when you deploy it, to either pick 4 attack or 2 gold. 2 gold. Space gold. We've got kings, I suppose, as I found out earlier, so it might not be too ridiculous to say it's gold. But yeah, so we've got this. Well, I might go for that. I'm going to go for the patrol bot. And a black hole. Here we go. What's that? Discard 2 cards. Well, I can't. Or 1 card and lose 4. Or no cards and lose 8. Oh, right. Oh, I see. I get it. Right, you are. Yeah, okay, fine. So I can't discard any cards because it's the end of my turn. So I'm going to lose 8 authority. Because I've got no cards to discard. I can't pick any. So, bam. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Now, I have 6 points left. 6 attack points. I don't like this card, because this card is hurting me for 3 points every single turn. This kind of giant green globular monster thing in the sky is hurting me. So I'm going to take that out, so it can't hurt me anymore. I can't destroy his trade wheel, but I'm not so fussed. So let's cause him a point of damage. However, he is very significantly ahead, isn't he? Isn't he? Okay, end turn for now. We've still got our Gambit cards. Must remember those. And yeah, here we go. Lovely. Time for tea. Ah! Excitingly, he also took the option to lose 8 authority, which is quite good. Sorry, mouthful of tea. Important when playing a turn-based game. He is going to destroy my bases and cause a lot of damage to me. Ouch. 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 Right. I don't really like him very much. Medium Aaah is a bit of a knob. I don't like Medium Aaah at all. Is there anything I want from my hand that I want on the top of the deck? Yes, there is. I'm going to deploy my salvage operation. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pick this. Yes, because it's going to cause lots and lots of lovely, lovely damage to people, but also it gets in the way. So let's pick the space station. So next turn I know that I'm going to have a space station in play with a bit of defense, which is rather lovely. Let's play MacLeod. And yeah, let's just play all the other cards. Ah, there we go. It came out now. Yes, tremendous. Okay, and I'm going to scrap this. I want to get the 1 gold from it. So the cargo launch, I've scrapped it. I've got the 1 trade out of it because I want this patrol mech, please. So I get to choose 3 trade or 5 damage. Now 5 damage is quite good. And if it's paired with another red card, or this one here, which well, I suppose it's red anyway, but it pairs with everything, I get to scrap cards. So that's rather good. So I'll take that, thank you very much. And do I cause 7 damage to him? Yes, I think I'm going to have to cause 7 damage to him because he's significantly healthier than me. Right, let's hope he doesn't cause too much damage. Oh my goodness, he's got a load of damage, but he had more trade than anything else. Right, he can't take out both of my bases though. He'll take out MacLeod, but he can't take that out. So his thing was wasted. So his 3 attack points were wasted at the end there, which is rather exciting. Good. Ha! Right. They've allied. The 2 bases have allied together. the special ability of this kicked in, which means Medium Owl now has to discard a card next turn as well. Ha ha ha, Medium Owl, have that, you bugger. Right, this card here means that I can either get 4 attack or 2 trade. So the minute I've got 3, is there anything I'd want from 5 trade? Probably that. That trade escort is rather good, and it'll stop him having it, more importantly. So let's pick the 2 trade, and let's have that trade escort. Ah, oh, that is a really good card. That is a very good card. That's each of the different factions, the different coloured sort of bits of cards, the different groupings, has a kind of couple of very good cards, like flagship type, you know, big spaceships. And that is the Machine Cult one, the red cards one. It's really good. It's very good. Right, we'll damage you. So we're chipping away at him, and we're now hiding behind 9 sort of defence points of bases. So it's 29 versus 59, so I am still significantly far away. Oh no, right, he's going to blow up one of my... Oh, I'm dead. I've gone. I've just been completely annihilated. I'm about to be blasted across the face of space. Does space have a space? Face in the space, London. That was an absolute annihilation. That was terrible. And yeah, that's what happens sometimes. It just goes on, you know, the fortune you have, the cards you pick, the tactics you go for. But yeah, I don't think I was particularly helped there by any of the discarding issues, or my first turn where I literally gained entirely nothing from it. I got nothing from my first go. But there you go, it's gone black and white. Oh, I'm dead. Blasted into tiny, tiny bits across space. Oh dear, how very sad. But yes, I think you get how it goes. So it is rather lovely, and as you play, you learn to you'll learn the cards. The pairing up bonuses become a bit clearer. The rules around the bases become a bit more obvious, and you kind of work out what you want to do. You know, in terms of the cards you go down, whether you want to go down the red deck in the blue deck, which is quite a good combo, whether you want to go down the blobs and the blues, which is a good combo as well, actually. The blob cards causing all the damage, and then the blue cards healing you up is a fairly potent combo. But then if you don't pick any red cards, you're more likely than not going to not be able to get rid of the rubbishy scouts and vipers out of your hand. So instead of getting all the nice pairing and theming bonuses, you're just going to have these rubbish cards in your hand a lot of the time. So yeah, it is very good, and hopefully this hasn't made it look too complicated. Once you play it sort of even twice, 2 or 3 times, the rules do slot into place very easily, and you do begin to understand them quite easily. But yes, that is Star Realms, and yeah, it's very good to play. It's fairly quick, as you just saw then, and that was of me waffling on about all my decisions as well. You can have a game of Star Realms in maybe 5 or 10 minutes. You could play a few, 3, 4, 5 in an hour. Generally, as 2 players, as 1 deck of cards can serve 2 people. So if you have multiple decks of cards, you can have obviously 4, 6, 8, whatever, more people playing. I've not tried the online version of this because I don't know anyone else that plays it, and I don't want to play against the randoms because I'll probably be winning and then they'll mysteriously disconnect just at the end. But yeah, I think it's really good. I really enjoy Star Realms, and I do recommend it for the playability of it, and everything looks really nice in it as well. The cards, the actual cards, the artwork on the cards is really good. They're very distinctive artwork, and they've done a fairly good job of putting that over into the computer version. I think it looks good. It looks authentic enough. Just very, very, very clever high-res scans of the actual cards, which I can see up there on a shelf here in the Geek cupboard. So yes, I think you get the idea. It is lovely, it's fun, and if you like sort of space card battle-y things, then yeah, Star Realms is probably a good place to start. But for now, thank you very much for joining me in the Geek cupboard, and I'll see you next time. Ooh, what is that? Robbery? I robbed the bank. Oh, I've got to go and do that. That's my job. I've got to go and get in the bank. And I'm back in the lockup again. I can break out this time though. Haha! So have that, you buggers. This game is very hard, and it doesn't care that it kicks you in the face every now and then. Nobody robbed him, did they? Gits. Is there a difference between a gremlin and a goblin? I don't know. Maybe one's got a bigger chin and one's got bigger noses or ear size or something. I don't know. Whatever. These fellas